obviously.
Go ahead.
That's how I got all my video game time.
Your masks are optional.
Okay.
Do you want to take them off?
Mine's like 9 o'clock here in bed. It's like playing bed. It's like, but you want to your head down. I've heard those conversations.
Are we live?
Hi.
Surprise!
You're kidding, right?
No, we're not.
Okay.
Oh,
We'll
cheers.
just turn it on?
Well,
We are live. Okay, hi.
They got the last, 3 seconds of the
Okay.
Oh, they didn't get the white conversation. That's great. Right. Lucky job.
Absolutely live. Watching right
and
now.
we're getting all
Okay.
this too, so everyone quiet. Let's go.
Start it up by... Start it up.
Are we?
What a great
I can't tell if you guys are joking or not.
They're not. They're not, to be honest.
Okay,
Oh. Okay,
Okay.
yeah, we're okay.
We're
We're
live
live.
upside
We're
down.
live. Yeah, we're live upside down.
Alright. Hi, I'm Steveo, the gamer. You're watching One Side of the Coin. Thanks for viewing to all our viewers out there. So tonight we got a very special show tonight. With me as always is...
Knocked out.
And we got a whole bunch of guests with us today. So we're going to go around the table and introduce everybody.
Okay.
Jordan Graham.
JC, I'm John, Genesis Battle Champions on the Discord as well.
Jan Kealotix.
Okay, most of these are part of our Genesis Battle of Champions group here at Heads or Tails Gaming. But before we go into our discussion tonight, which is mostly going to be about the 2021 Genesis Battle of Champions Championship coming up November 20th, we're going to bow our heads for a very quick moment of silence for all our fallen comrades for today's Remembrance Day. Having served in the Army myself, so we're going to give some respect. So hopefully our viewers can join with us, and we're just going to take a moment of silence. So, to all those fallen veterans out there, you will always remain in our hearts, as always, and we really appreciate for having served for our country, and yeah, rest in peace. So, getting into our discussion right away, 2021 championship. Anybody have opening thoughts on this?
I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting.
Fight Club!
Fight Club.
Talk about Fight Club.
Okay, let's narrow it down as far as discussion. What do you guys fear the most out of this championship coming up? I know most of you have not been a part of the 2019 championship. Some of us have. Jordan, Will was there, myself. He was judging because he's a card designer. So, however, new to our community, Yan and Billy. So let's start with you guys. So what are you guys mostly fearing of this championship coming up?
I don't really have anything that I fear. I just think I'm just really looking forward to seeing how the communities all come together. I'm looking forward to seeing how that our level of play stacks up with other people, and I'm looking forward to hearing a bit more about Origins and the Kickstarter, because I think that's going to be quite good to hear.
Yeah. Billy?
Well, because I haven't been playing for very long, pretty much everything. I haven't really played against very many different champions. I played against like 2. So if I don't play against one of those 2, I'm going to be very fearful for the entirety of it.
Who have you played against so far?
I've played against Nubia, Erica, I believe Malik, and Kuhn?
Ah, you're fine. You're good.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
That's
face
pretty much your
I
only right
think
there.
Yeah.
You need to face
Okay.
against.
you'll want to face an Idris, but that's...
Has he played my Malik yet?
No.
No.
he hasn't.
Oh.
No. I played against Jordan. That's it.
I don't think you
Good
faced
job,
me
Jordan.
yet. I did a thing.
You
No.
own Malik.
So.
Yes, yeah. Jordan has been playing Malik for, well, as far as I can remember.
He's basically the only champion that I play. I started with Rain, and then immediately migrated over to Malik.
That was me. I think I started with one and then instantly went to another. I think, again, I started with Malik and then I went, right over to Nubia.
You went in there
Yeah.
straight in there, yeah.
But Steveo, like obviously, it's not just yourself, but also Colin, who's part of the technical team. He's coming in. It's going to be his first tournament as well. So
Yes, so yeah, one of our tech guys behind the camera tonight. It's mad shout out to both of them, Richard Summers and Colin Pierce. Colin's
go tech
actually,
guys.
yeah, Colin has decided to take on the championship, which I believe is his first big major championship we've attended.
It is.
So yeah, it's going to be
Genesis,
super.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Genesis. Have you participated in any other ones?
Played a couple of Yu-Gi-Ohs back in the day, but
Okay.
that was pretty much it.
Don't forget about our yearly Commander Christmas tournaments.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into the announcements after.
We gotta get Richard to start playing Genesis.
Genesis,
too,
yeah.
Yeah.
One of us. One of us.
One of us.
So no fears at all going
me?
into this? Yeah.
I don't think so. I'm not like. I've come to terms with my own abilities, and so I'm happy to. I'm playing a deck that I'm going to enjoy playing. I'm going to have fun. Potentially, as I progress in the judge program, this potentially could be my last with time to compete, and I can move forward to judging.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to enjoy it, and I mean, there are probably certain things I don't want to see, but we could probably get into some of that later. But
Okay. Jordan,
I'm scared of angel decks.
just scared of Angel Deck?
They're terrifying. You drop like 3 angels in a row and then I go. What do I do?
He's not scared of it. He gets mad at it, like severely mad.
So
It's
anybody
like 3
bringing an
angels.
Angel Deck, yeah, just try to avoid Jordan.
can Adara
Jason-
play angels?
No.
She can't.
She can go do Death's Companion, which she
Yeah.
can still spur and swing in for 5 on it.
Yeah.
So
She could play the mini Angel Deck.
There we go. There's my deck, everybody.
mini angels.
Mini Angels with Adara.
Death's Companion.
See you there.
You know how good you faced me on stream. Yeah, you totally annihilated that, so I don't think so.
Both the mats, the one with blue yellow's covered. Where is it?
What are you talking about?
What?
The thingy on the mat. Where is it? Right there.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, Vadis.
There it is.
Yeah.
Buddies.
Trying to
JC.
look for it.
Any fears?
Me calling judge every 2 minutes.
The scary thing is you're gonna be a higher level than me. Like, this is awkward. I think
Let's not go
I think the greatest fear is this is both fear and excitement is this is the first time we're going to see forethoughts in full effect. Since
good
its
point.
its implication into the game, this is the first time where we're physically going to see it in
Yep.
motion.
There will be a lot of learning that comes from that. I foresee maybe the judges, that might be an area where the judges actually are involved in more
Yes.
than the actual gameplay. There'll be situations, but I think just sometimes just the understanding of it, people not being sure, the process,
Yeah.
but we don't know, right? You're right.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's the new rule set for me as far as for major fear is because the whole rule book was reset, right? So it's like now we're looking at a lot of specific technicalities, like so from when we're playing normal casual game, like the whole touching of the cards.
Yeah.
So it's like when you put your hand on the card, if you move it back, you take your hand off. That's actually considered a double move now,
You're
right?
in your end phase.
You're
yeah.
in your end phase, so it's like watching that very closely, and it's like we're in our own casual locals. It's like normally, what do we do, right? We are like, oh, you know, somebody says, oh, I didn't want to do that, right? And then you just let it go, right?
Yeah.
So, but in this instance, now that is an actual rule,
You
it's,
can't do that.
You can't do it anymore, right? And it's like. Yeah, exactly, right? For those of us that are used to doing it, I mean, it's going to be watched really closely.
You're going to see people. What you're probably going to see a lot more of is Odara's taking her turn, Baruch's taking its turn. That's what you're probably going to see a lot more of, so we don't have that confusion happening. I'm activating Baruch.
Yeah.
It's going to take its turn, and then you're going to start moving it from there, or decide where you're going to move.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of, I think that should probably be implicated as well of the statement of who you're activating.
Yeah.
Should be said, right? Whether or not that's going to be.
And it's not like that wasn't always in place. Like it's just sort of something that was overlooked because we've never
Yes.
had this level of competition.
Competition,
right?
right.
So if you're in a game, there's so many times where like if I'm teaching somebody or if I'm playing a new player and they play a card, it's like, oh, you can't actually do that. They're like, oh, they'll just pick that back up and let's just continue on. Like you didn't do that, right? But that doesn't happen now, right? Like
No,
at
it
this
doesn't.
level, you can't. You know, if I play this card and you can't actually play it, well, you still pay the cost. The card goes into memories. You're not getting it back.
You're not getting
right?
it back.
And it's just another level, right? If I move this card and I move back, right? Well, that's like 2 moves. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So.
Now, so for a newer player, so like, so Billy, for instance, or whatnot, not understanding these rules, and I mean, even some of us older players that aren't used to it when
Right.
that happens. I mean, so if somebody does that, like say they did move it, right? And then you say, oh no, that's not allowed. You're in your end phase, but they say you call a judge over, right? It's his word against yours, right? Did that actually happen? It's like, how are we going to be able to prove that, right?
Right.
What you're going to end up seeing there is, I come over to Will. Let's say his opponent's done that. Will's made the call. I'm going to ask the opponent honestly, did you move it? And if they say, no, I didn't, and we get into that discussion, like, all right, we're going to keep the point where it is its turn. It's going to have to take its turn. And I'm probably going to end up watching that game for quite a while.
Yeah.
Unless I'm called away.
You brought
Just
up the
to make-
lie detector test.
Yeah.
Pull
Like-
up
like
the
a-
limit.
Yeah.
Like
Did you
I'm not.
move
I'm
it?
not saying that this situation would necessarily happen, and most gamers should be honest, right? So to a certain extent, I'm not saying it's going to happen at this championship, but potentially it could.
Yeah, I
right?
think-
It's
I
like
think
you
we're
got to look
all-
at those possibilities.
Yeah, we're all going into the championship. We're all going to be respectful of people's space because of COVID. We're going to respect people's time, right? I think there will be acknowledgement of those rule sets, right? An acknowledgement of
Yeah.
how long you've been playing as you sit down at the table, whatever it may be. And then, yeah, if that situation comes up, then there's that conflict. I hope they do call the judge. But then I hope when the judge comes over, it is a 3-way conversation where it's basically saying, okay, sure, let's do a redo on this time, but now you know going forward, right? This time you get your pass. The judge is going to be here for a bit watching, and you can't do that in this level of tournament.
Right.
Right? And I think if I was the opponent and that was sort of the end result of that first instance, I'd be happy with it. It's sort of a compromise on all parts. Probably, if they're moving it back, it probably didn't affect the overall gameplay. They still have to activate that thing,
Yeah.
which means it's probably going forward again or going to the side. In the long run, yes, there may be a situation where that is a game decision or game winning, game losing, this type of decision. And that'll be a tough call, right?
Yeah.
But I think if we're all entering with the understanding that the judges are working together, we're playing this game, we're enjoying this game, and yes, there is stuff to win. I think the compromises and discussion can be had, right?
Yeah. Now, another concern too is the pace of the game, because for some of us veterans that have been playing for so long, and how fast the game has sped up. I remember from way back in the start, it's like matches would literally run way over an hour, right, at first. But now that us veteran players that have been playing, the speed of the game is so fast when you have 2 players facing one another that are really experienced. They know they boom, 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 it's going back and forth. You know, matches are ending in half hour kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the new player coming into this game, I mean, well, what are we to expect as far as slow play in calling them out on a slow play for a newer player coming into the game, especially at a championship, right?
So there's the time limit, and then there's the 2-round after the time limit's over.
Yes.
And again, if you are, let's say you're in Billy's situation where you are new, like within a month, 2 months, or whatever, yeah, that would be daunting, right? Like
Yeah.
we've never played a game with a time limit.
Trying to figure out,
Right.
you know,
And then-
movement.
Yeah, and
What
then you
to
get
play.
2 summoners side by facing each other.
Yeah.
Now everyone's got 6 pieces to move around, and it's
Yep.
like, okay, this is going to really.
Take a long time
Right.
to
Yeah.
play out.
So there will be, unfortunately, there will be decisions that have to be made quickly, and those could be the wrong decisions.
Yeah.
It's part of the game.
Part of
Yeah.
the game.
Part of the
right?
game.
Like,
Has a rule been set in place, though? I'll direct this towards JC. A rule been set in place as far as time limit for a player to make their decision on when they activate any, like whether it's a summon or their champion.
If you're, so I I'm still need to read about the rule book on the judging and all that. We were on the meeting a couple nights ago. For you, when you activate something, if it's a summon, there's only so many places it can go, and so many ways you can rotate. If you can't do that in like a minute or something, you're sitting there. After you said that's my activation, you're sitting there constantly thinking it out and playing every move forward. I'm sorry, you got to move this piece now, or it's going to exert itself. That's
Which is a benefit to having the once touch move rule in place. Is that now, okay, I'm touching this and I'm moving it because I know what I'm doing with it.
yes.
Right? It's not going to be, oh, let's touch this. Oh, I don't like that doing. Oh, actually, I'm going to activate this one. Oh, actually, I'll activate this one. Right? You can't do that anymore. So that all that slowdown's gone.
Right.
So now it's like, okay, I'm moving this, and I know what I'm doing. It's a summon. I can only do so much. Right? If it's I'm moving my summon and then they start looking at the cards in their hand, they probably don't understand that the cards in hand probably aren't going to play a role. Right?
The only time they should be looking at cards in hand is if the summon's moving into a position that's close to your champion, you're planning to
Defend or something.
defend it
Yeah.
or boost it somehow or protect it. Fine, but if your summon's all the way out in the middle of nowhere's land, your champion's all the way back, and you're sitting there flipping through. It's like, unless you're planning on like triple chronoing over and doing some real big shenanigans, your summons should probably do its thing and get the turn moved on.
And as a rule of thumb for new players, I would say that you probably want to do your champion last. In most
situations,
you probably want to activate your champion last if you have multiple summons on the board. Not always, but most of the time, I would say.
Yeah, so you can have like Wheels or Brooks, and then you just activate that purifying wave, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you.
Okay, well, what about and then there's one other incident. Sorry. So, say they have like Idris and they have a giant scorpion on the field, right? And they state, I'm activating giant scorpion, but they place their hand on Idris. So what kind of situation are we looking at then?
If you place your hand and you haven't moved Idris, I'd be like, congratulations, you touch your card. If they moved Idris over Giant Scorpion, I'd be like, well, that's great. I'm going to move Idris back. Giant Scorpion's going to exert. It's going to pass the turn at this point because you made an illegal move. And now it's one activation. You've done something else.
And there are two players on the board, right? So you should be watching your opponent, and then your opponent, you should be expecting your opponent to watch you.
Right. So more or less we're stating that touch.
If you say I'm activating Scorpion and you touch Idris, I'd be like, you touched Idris. Which one are you doing?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I would just do that. I would make that call on the board.
Okay.
With my opponent. I will, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to touch it. Okay, fine. Right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
In a game,
Oh, you're right. I did touch this one. I do want to activate this one. Okay, fine.
Right.
It's,
But are you going to allow something like that to go through when you're playing for $3,000?
I would expect at the end of the day that some of those things will get worked out in the first few rounds.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully, right?
Hopefully. Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what the round robin
Or
is.
we won't even see them at all, right? I mean, it's all hearsay, right?
it's
Yeah.
a caution potentially at that point. It is up to the players to maintain the state of the game at all times. When you think about it, in most games, it is their responsibility. As a judge, we're there to fix a mess.
Yeah, the judges
Or
are there
to say this is the ruling.
open up the conversation
Yes.
or create a mediator, right?
Yeah.
To sort of blend the two. Be like, this is what they're saying, this is what this is saying. Okay, here's what I see. Here's the best course of action. Do you both agree? Go for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. So this is going to be an amazing day. So we got basically 4 rounds of Swiss, top 8, and then the final 2, right? So all the other events that are going on, they're sealed, right?
Yeah.
So I guess you guys had a discussion about the sealed
We did online,
last night.
Yeah.
For the Haunted Castle stream,
Mhm.
which was pretty cool. You guys discussed it. Both Ian and Will, who are judges, were on it. I jumped in afterwards for a few minutes.
Yeah.
I was a little busy last night, but I was able to catch most of it.
Yes.
VIP.
VIP packages?
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Hey, you're VIP. Everybody,
Yep.
I think everybody. You're VIP. You are a VIP. JC's our VIP. 100% VIP.
I got VIP.
We all got VIP. Yeah. So what?
Can I
Ankashi,
have the volunteer one?
you're a volunteer.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
sure.
a VIP at heart.
I'm sure it'll hook you up for volunteering. So, yeah. So what do we got?
Yeah.
T-shirt, uncut sheet, our meals, promos,
Yeah.
like a bunch of stuff, right? Absolutely. Amazing.
And there's only 4 days left to get your VIP as well.
Oh yeah, only 4 days left. So you have until was it 12th
It's the 15th, isn't
or
it?
the 15th?
It's 15.
Yeah.
15, so yeah.
We're on the 11th now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 9 days left till the actual.
One carry the one.
Yeah. I do as good at math.
Yeah.
I said I do as good at math as you do.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right.
No, I just finished math. I passed with a 53.
Hey, you passed.
Yeah.
I passed. Yeah, that's a bad pass. Also, you forgot the food.
Food.
You forgot to mention
Food.
the food.
Yeah.
No, he did. No, he mentioned it. He did mention it.
Oh, I thought he missed it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
VIPs get our.
No, he mentioned it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I gotta say, it's much more than another game I played and then the whole VIP experience. The only benefit to that one was I didn't have to move my seat. The only benefit of it. And an extra mat.
Yeah.
And an extra mat.
And an extra game mat.
Extra game mat.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. I think I know which one you're talking about. But
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna say it out loud.
Wait, what?
It's a little thing for JC.
Little-
It's the little, yeah.
Yeah,
It's the small
I think
touches.
by far this is one of the best championships atmosphere, right? I mean, so Will was at the first one. You and I used to. Well, you weren't there. You were there. Yeah, I mean, going from the first one to this one, I mean the uptick.
Yeah.
And the benefits of just going to the championship are like
Yeah, we got bigger space. We got
1,000 times full.
like twice as many players.
Yep.
Already.
How many
And
registered?
I think it was still 26 last time I looked.
26.
But remember, there are free tickets, so I expect to maybe see another 5 or 10 potentially last minute coming in. But
It's a lot.
And we know, like, I think I was watching one of the vlogs where, there will be other exciting things happening during the day that haven't been announced, right?
Yeah.
And if you were at the last one, there were some big announcements. There was big reveals. There's, unique opportunities to play certain things. So, I mean, that's very cryptic, but
yeah,
basically, there's a lot that's going to be happening. You got the auction. Items will be there. The auction's online, but the items will be there.
you can exchange your foils.
The foil
foil
exchange
exchange
too.
program.
Foil
Yeah.
change, isn't it?
Yeah. What I'm kind of hoping is because of all those doubles that I have, I'd be able to maybe potentially
there you go.
trade them in for ones that
Or
are
trade with other people. There's
Or
a lot of
trading.
trading probably will be
a lot
allowed
of trading
there.
going on, stuff like that. Yeah.
Maybe I should get that full set finally.
Yeah. We're
No?
gonna
You need a hug for that, man.
Yeah,
I'll take a prayer. Well, we're gonna see the second printing
Yeah,
of
those are nice.
J2 coming out in the near future too, so we'll be able to
yeah.
I'm gonna give me
keep our fingers crossed. Get those. We'll be able to face all the card designers like JC as well. So all the
Cracking your knuckles for it. You already know what you're bringing.
Wait,
Malik.
Malik, yeah.
you already know you're
You always
Wait,
play Malik.
wait, I have to bring Malik? Is
Maybe he
it
has
fine
a
by
trick up
law?
his sleeve.
No,
and
you
he's
already
not.
stated it.
Precedence, that's what it's designed.
He's
I
got
don't know, I might.
Might.
I might.
Well,
He's
anyway.
not yeah,
to
the
decide.
when
I'm not
he-
needing side. Maybe I'll build up that Oni and make it good.
Oh, Oni deck. I would love to see that.
I faced him against his Oni on stream.
Wait, you actually have an Oni?
He has an Oni
Yeah.
deck, yeah. I walked all over him. It's hilarious.
He was
It's
just
Oni.
going easy on you.
I went easy on him. I could have brought Malik to the table and he would have been crying.
Yeah.
Zach telling me.
I cry when I play Malik, so.
Alright?
I cry when I play Malik.
Play
How
as
do you play
him.
Malik? Why do you cry when you play Malik?
Because I look at the card and it's like, oh, this is Malik.
Yeah, right? What am I going to do with
Wow.
Well, some tips actually for Malik, and I was telling Jordan earlier today, we're working on his deck a bit, and it's like, really watch that heavy attack, right? Because I basically sat back and just watched him. He was coming up doing 4 damage. I'm chronoing out, right? He's still taking that 2 damage, and it wears him down really quick.
Yeah, it
in the
did.
long run, right? So we're playing stuff like Demon's Rage. You got to take damage for it, right? It can really wear Malik out in the long run. Unless you're playing it his style, it's a whole different ballpark, right? So it's like, yeah. Right? So, I mean, yeah, Malik could be a force to reckon with if he's played right to a certain degree, but I don't think we're going to see a whole heck of a lot of Malik decks.
No.
I think let's go around the table here. Who do you think is going to, let's narrow it down, 2 top champions?
Top 2 champions?
I was
Yeah.
gonna ask that question.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you want to ask it? Go ahead.
Ask the question.
It's already passed.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess what top 2 champions do you think?
We'll
might
start with
win?
you then. Top 2 champions.
You've asked me this. I don't know. There's like 4 of them that I listed.
Well, pick 2. Who do you think the top 2 predictions?
Oh shit. I think Idris might be one of them, and then the other one, might be Nubia.
Idris Nubia?
Yeah,
Jordan?
Idris Nubia.
As much as I would love to say and hope that Malik could come out on top, I would have to agree with Mac Attack on this. I'm pretty sure Nubia of any kind or an Idris deck.
Will?
Oh, on the spot. Top 2?
Top 2.
I'm gonna go potentially Kuhn or Idris.
Kuhn or Idris? We got a Kuhn. Billy.
I was thinking Nubia and Kuhn.
Nubia and Kuhn?
I would say probably Kuhn and Idris.
Kuhn and Idris.
I'll go with Idris and Kuhn as well.
Idris and Kuhn. Wow.
Twinsies.
I'm sorry. Kuhn, Subjugation Strike. Great card with him. You can get in there. And he actually has that movement to get in to put the pressure on it. Just that alone is brutal.
Who do you think?
So that's what all 4 of you. Everybody here said the same 4 champions, right?
No.
No.
No, because there was Idris's, they said...
All together we said.
Oh, together it's 4, yeah.
4 yeah.
We said Idris Kuhn,
Malik.
Nubia. Oh, there was a Malik.
There was
Yeah.
a Malik. One
Yeah.
Malik.
Who said Malik?
Me.
Yeah,
Oh, he said you wanted to say Malik.
he
I
wanted
said
to say
Malik.
Malik, but he agreed
back
with
behind
me
your
that
beer
either
streak, that
Nubia
guy.
or Idris.
Stevo?
Yeah, who do you think?
I don't have an opinion.
Oh. Takes all the information in.
Stevo's
Yeah.
going to be 12 o'clock, midnight. That's Friday.
You know what? I was
This
going to
one
say...
play.
I disagree. I think it's going to be 2 o'clock.
Erica.
It was
Saturday
like
morning.
4 o'clock in the
Erica,
morning.
Yeah.
No, like people shine on Erica so
Tuesday.
bad. It's like I think Erica has the potential to make it top 2. I honestly do. It's gonna be
Erica?
either Erica or Nubia, or would be
Erica
my
hands
top 2
down.
choices.
I don't think Nubia's going to get in there.
You don't think
Really?
so?
I don't think so.
Why?
You're going to get one player who's like, okay, you're playing Nubia, play your stuff out, use up your aura, now you're down to double draw and energy.
Yeah.
And Nubia can't take the late game.
A lot of people have played against a lot of Nubia, right? So
Yeah.
I think, although I would say Nubia has a very strong, multiple strong decks, we have a lot of experience playing against that style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But have we succeeded against it? That was the question, right? I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
Last circuit was Nubia with Angels, right?
yeah.
Took everything, and there was 2 Nubia decks in the last circuit.
Yeah.
Now that was 2 years ago, right? There was a pandemic in there.
I think so. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's been so long.
It's been a
So
blur for a while.
there's lots of things. I don't know. Erica, I think having 150 aura in those colors, you can't overlook that, right?
No, you can't overlook it. Plus, being able to summon from the subconscious, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, those Baidus can help. Just gotta watch your health.
Yes.
18. So, I mean, use of cards, Angel's Embrace,
Breath.
Breath of Jaw, right? So, I mean, those 2 cards alone, splashed them in the timeline could really, really help her, right? So, it's, yeah.
It's interesting. Neither of you said Healing Fire.
I was just thinking that actually. That
She
takes
does
her-
have access to Healing Fire.
That would
Yeah.
take her up to 24 off a play, right?
Yeah.
If she bounces off something.
Because-
That's one of her